Yes, so I'm going to be talking, as you said, from a South African perspective and context.
Joanne?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. So I think from our perspective, the current debate has become overly focused on individual providers. And I want to take a step back. I know Starlink is in the title today, and I'll most probably go into a little bit more detail about our policy and what's been happening a bit later on. But to start off with, I want to make it far more general and on a strategic level. So that being said, I think the more important question than looking at individual providers is how governments should govern strategically significant digital infrastructure in ways that advance our national interests. That for me is very important because infrastructure, as we all know, creates leverage. And governments have a legitimate responsibility to govern these strategically significant infrastructures, not to choose market winners to start off with. So it's a governance conversation from my perspective and not so much a technology conversation. So as you know, South Africa has strong institutions, a relatively mature telecom market, but with policy debates that are highly politicized. And that's been a problem. And now recently, and I'll talk a little bit in more detail later on, I'll mention that Amazon recently announced that they are going to be providing their LEO services in South Africa, which is very telling because South Africa has been resisting Starlink because of regulations up to now. So for me, there's two guiding principles, basically, and I've mentioned national interest, which is primarily a development, economic, governance, and resilience issue. Defense is one stakeholder, so I concentrate a lot on the defense side of strategy. But I think they are one stakeholder and in my opinion, not the most important one at the moment because it's mostly, this technology is mostly useful for the civilian side, not military. Military has their own technology and their own systems. And then strategic coherence, which is where I focus on the national and on the defense side. And there I must add that different countries may legitimately reach different conclusions because we are all very different in terms of geography, institutional capacity, development priorities, security concerns, and then national interests again as well. But in general, I think Africa must resist dependence on external suppliers that are very much vertically integrated, some of them. And I think about mentioning exploitation, but I want to say that we must encourage rather having a mutual benefit in the situations that we have. So the key question for me is, are governance decisions consciously aligned with national objectives rather than driven by providers or technologies? So I think, Wellington, that's about my 3 or 4 minutes.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Joanne. There is a lot of clarity right there. Just to push you a little bit more there, is there any specific regulation that mentions Starlink in terms of telecommunications control in South Africa today?
Not mentioning Starlink per se. So to have internet services directly in South Africa, an operator would require 3 licenses or 2 and 1 where it's applicable. It's IECS, Individual Electronic Communications Service License, Individual Electronic Communications Network Service License, IECNS, and then where applicable, a radio frequency spectrum license. But where Starlink comes into play is for these IECNS and IECS licenses. Our Electronic Communications Act requires a minimum of 30% ownership by historically disadvantaged groups. And Starlink and its owner especially is pushing back against this. So ICASA, our authority that regulates all of these things and implements and gives the licenses, has repeatedly confirmed that is a statutory requirement and it must apply when considering any individual license applications. Now, in South Africa, we are exploring under ICT sector code, this already applies. So ICASA is also exploring whether equity equivalent investment programs or EEIPs could act as a different way to gain a license in the country. But at the moment, you need a transfer of 30% equity in South Africa. So this is where the Starlink model, which is completely vertically integrated, no local participation basically at all, differs quite a lot from the Amazon Herotel model, where Amazon appears to be using a wholesale partnership, which is completely outsourced. So they provide the satellite capacity, and Herotel, which is the locally owned and operated company, and they've got hundreds of thousands of customers in broadband and in fiber and in wireless services already. I used to be one of their customers. So they would provide the retail service, manage customers, performs installation support, and South Africa would have their customer relations with Herotel and not with Amazon. So that is basically where we are at the moment. And then SpaceSail, the Chinese company, has also announced that they would be interested in providing their services into South Africa, and they are also known to be using a more outsourced model.